So we've got our base done. Next thing we're going to do a couple of flaps. So flaps are literally the easiest thing that you can do to put into a mini album. They work great, they're interactive, they give you more space for pictures and things. It's very, very easy. So we're going to take our 3 little scraps that we had from our pages. So these should be 5 by 12. And we're going to make a couple of flaps. So our first flap is going to be 5 by 7.5. Okay, so I'm going to set that one aside. Actually, no, let's finish that one off first, and then we'll do our other 2. So 5 by 7.5. So this is a flap that's going to run top to bottom on a page. Okay, so we're going to put this in our scoreboard with the 7.5 along the top, and we're going to score at half an inch maybe, except it doesn't want to stay put for me. Okay, half an inch. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to miter my corners. Okay, so I'm going to cut from that score line out. Okay, we're just cutting a tiny bit out. Okay, literally that's all we took off. Okay, tiny, tiny piece. Turn it over and do the same thing the other direction. Okay, you're going to fold towards the bumpy side again and burnish. And then you're going to figure out which page you want this on. So the way I have designed our beginner album, any of the elements will work on any of the pages. Okay, so this is going to be a full page flap. All right, so I'm going to put this on my first page, and I'm just going to put glue on my tab. I'm not going to get too crazy because, again, we don't really need to. When doing flaps that are going to fold up, I like to turn my book upside down when I put them in to make sure I'm lining it up all the way at the top of the page. So because this is the same size as our page, it should go all the way to the top and all the way to the side, and it should cover that page entirely. Okay, there's your first flap. Very basic, very simple. Okay, next we're going to do some overlapping flaps. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to grab my trimmer again. This time we are going to cut 2 pieces that are 6 by 5. That doesn't sound right. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. 5.5 by 5. That's what I did. I changed my measurements on this a couple of times. So we're going to go 5.5 and 5.5. And I think I just did not update that page. Okay. So again, we're going to take our scoreboard with our 5.5 at the top of the scoreboard. We're going to score it half an inch. On both pieces. Okay. We're going to miter these again, just like we did with our other flap. Okay, you don't need to miter really aggressively. You just want to take a little bit of that off because it makes it kind of, once you've matted, it makes it not be quite as noticeable. Okay, so we're going to fold and burnish. Okay, I'm going And then we're going to decide what page we want these on. So these, because they're going to overlap, we can do them in like this. We can do them like this. It's entirely up to you. You could do one going in and one coming from the top. Honestly, I'm kind of liking that. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with my bottom flap. And we're going to glue that down all the way along the outside edge and the bottom edge. Okay. Okay. This one is going to come down over the top part of that. So I'm going to turn it upside down again. Okay. So we have flaps like so. Again, super simple. You can do them. I've done it with pages like this where I have two coming in from the sides, two coming in from the bottom, you know, top and bottom, and they all overlap so that you're just kind of opening and opening and opening. That's always a fun element. But literally that is how simple it is to do a flap. Okay. The next little piece we're going to do, because again, it's just as simple as the flap and still has a, you know, is very, it's just a fun element to have, is we're going to do a belly band. Okay. So I'm going to take, again, one of my scraps. We are going to cut this to 1.5 inches wide. Okay. And we are going to cut this. Oh, this one is too short, actually. I can't use that one. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try this. 8 inches by 1.5 inches. That's what we're going for. I didn't realize my other scraps were that short, but that's okay. Okay, so all we're going to do on this one is we're going to put it in our scoreboard with the 8-inch side at the top of the scoreboard. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch. We're going to turn it all the way around so that the non-scored side is over here on our end, and score it at 1/2 inch again. Okay. And then we're going to miter. Okay. On both ends. And then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to fold and burnish. And fold and burnish. Okay. I'm going to put this on the back of our first page. And we're just, again, going to center that up, top to bottom. I'm only going to glue one end down to start with so that I can kind of eyeball it and make sure it's where I want it to be. You, of course, can measure and get it all exact. When I was still new to this, I usually would do that. I've done enough of them at this point. I literally can eyeball it and I'm usually spot on, but that's taken a lot of years to get to that point. So, okay, glue your other end. And now you have a nice little belly band that you can tuck pictures or something under. We're actually going to do a little insert that's going to go underneath that. But that's how simple that is. So those are the two simplest elements that you can add to a mini album that are fun and interactive, but are not a whole lot of work and measuring and whatnot for you. Okay, next time when we come back, we're going to do some pockets.